Yes everyone, it's the video you've all been waiting for and asking for. It's Terrington St Clement part 2. Now, the next house we're going to have a check out. It'll only be briefly because it's private. But the next house is what we always used to call at school the ghost house, the ghost tower. People local and kids from the 70s and 80s will know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is at Tower Corner in Terrington. And all us kids used to talk about it, frightening each other all the time with the stories and made up stories that this place was all spooky and full of ghosts and that. So like I said, we'll just do a quick overshot because it is a private place, private residence, but just to give you a quick glimpse, I'll show you this. Like I say, as you can see the tower there behind me, like I said, we won't show any more because obviously it's a private residence, but it was always it's always a big joke as a child, making up ghost stories and saying how haunted it is and how we should go and visit it and have a look around it. None of us kids ever would because we was all too frightened to go and have a look, but it was always good fun when you was at junior school. As you can see there's Tower House. We're on Tower Corner on Northgate Way. Obviously you can shoot off right at the junction and that'll take you out to the Marsh and to the Wingland Crown State area. We're going to carry on, as I said, into the village and we'll see some sights from there. So, right behind me here is a public footpath. Now I believe I was at the high school in the 80s and I'm pretty certain this used to be our entrance point to do the cross-country run that we used to do during the winter time. I'm sure kids at the high school will remember from them parts then, when we used to do that, run through there, all the way round the back and then past the post office and back into the school. Going back a bit, but you know, it's what we did, good fun during the winter. As you can see behind me now, this wasn't here when I was here, so I haven't really lived here since the late 80s. I moved on in my career and life path. But that's a new doctor's surgery, I think it's been here a while. New establishment and place, my parents go there, and I've heard it's quite a good surgery. Now, just for location, we've just passed the high school and the junior school, infant school in Terrington. Obviously we're not gonna video that for obvious reasons. So, but just let you know geographically where we are. We're now going to pass what was the old post office when I was a child. I'm sure locals here will know what I'm talking about. So we'll take you past there. As you can see, the shop just there. This is now the Royal Blue Meat Co. Obviously, when I was a child, that was the post office where we secretly on the cross-country race and runs. We're secretly pop in there, get some sweets and then carry on running again. Next we'll come up to the Scouts, Guides, Cubs, all that brownies kind of thing. Not sure what the what they're called now and what it is. And so I haven't done that since the early 80s. But yeah, this is where I used to go. I was only ever in the Cubs. Brother did Cubs and Scouts. I only ever did the Cubs. I kind of got bored of it by then. So yeah, but that's where that is in Terrington, just stone's throw away from the school. So we will carry on. Right, as you can see behind me, we've made it back to the church. The sun's really glary here. We've made it back to the church. We're not going to do the church today. I just want to show you a quick glimpse of kind of where we are geographically as we go along the trail. I do have a separate Terrington St Clement part 1. Check out that will show you all the way around the church and different aspects of this area. Okay, we're just the opposite side of the road of the King William pub. Again, the pub's always been here as far as I know for my limited time on the planet. Well, I say limited, it's a bit longer now. Right, the road we're on here. Now, if you check your history, that's I'm no history expert, just odd bits that I've read. I think about 1912, this road all along here, where we go, was flooded. There is a picture on that, you can see it on Google. I haven't put it on here, obviously due to copyright. But yeah, take a look and you'll see how flooded it was, and you'll see the horses and carts all on that picture. Now, the building here behind me, I think it's still just private residence. I'm not sure what it is now, but on the corner there, so we're going to, I don't know, early 80s. I'd have still been at junior school then. That used to be the shop where we used to go, and that was the video rental shop. Now, some people would know about VHS and Betamax, but yeah. That would have been the place where we would have gone to rent out the latest videos that were available, and then we'd quickly get on our cycle home, and we'd all get round someone's house or a friend's house, and we'd watch them from there. So yeah, that was the video store. So we'll have a quick scan of what I can remember before. Now, as you can see, we got useless poison. Fish and chips, that was always there. Again, we used to stop there when I was a kid, perhaps when we shouldn't have done or should have done. I think it was called Andy Max then. You might be able to tell me then in the comments, but definitely that was a chip shop then. And the store we've got here, where are we? Memories. Now I'm sure that was a spa, from what I can remember. Obviously no hair studio, but I'm pretty certain as a child that would have been a spa grocery kind of store for people who obviously don't know the UK. So, and then just here we've got one on the corner here. I think that would have been a butcher's. I'm pretty certain I've been in there, picked up some liver. Now there's a funny story behind that. Once my father told me to cycle to the store here, to the butcher's, and he asked me to get £5 of liver. We was having liver and onions that night, and it turned out he wanted £5 in weight, and I asked for £5 sterling in money, in liver. So I had quite a bag full. Good story, but yeah, funny at the time. We're now coming up to what was Marshland's stores. I believe this has only recently closed. It's been there all my childhood life, where you could get a bit of everything. To save you going into town, into King's Lynn, you could go and buy lots of different bits and pieces, but unfortunately it has now closed, which is a real shame, because it's certainly an aspect of your childhood. So there we go, right behind me. And that was Marshland stores. Real shame that's closed. Now I'm not going to show lots of it, obviously, because it's private residence, so we'll move on from here. But just to let you know, the building behind me, and I believe it was still sign marked, so this would have been late 70s when I certainly would have been infant school. This was Terrington Police Station. Again, I can't give you a lot of history of it. I just remember it slightly as a child. I'm not sure when it closed or what. But yeah, that was the village police station. Quite a big police station, but I'm sure if you check online, you'll be able to get some more facts about its duration, time, and when it was open. And then we'll just move on a little bit more. Again, unfortunately, it's another private residence now. Let me just put the white building behind me there. That was the county, I think it was the County Arms County, but it was definitely a pub. No longer, it's closed now. It's all private residence now. But again, another bit from my childhood that I remember. And all the new houses built on the land, what would have been the car park. So yeah, if you come to Terrington and you see that, you'll see, yeah, it's all changed now, completely changed from when I used to live here. Now again, the next building, white building, we're just past there. That, when I was a child and my mother used to work there, was the chip shop. Another chip shop, older one, perhaps sort of going back to late 80s or early mid 80s maybe. But yeah, that was a local chip shop. I think it's some kind of takeaway place now. But yeah, that would have been the chip shop then. I can remember going in there quite a few, perhaps more times than what I should have gone in there. going to take a little walk back as we go through this memory lane video with me vaguely using my old memory to try and remember what things were. So as you can see now, the veterinary surgery, as far as I remember as a kid, that was the actual doctor's surgery before the new one was built. So yeah, I didn't really use it that much because I used the doctor's in King's Lynn, but I know my father used that one, so yeah. And then we've got down this street. I used to go down here. There used to be two shops down here. One I can remember as a child used to sell wool and different bits and pieces for knitting, and then there was a shoe shop next door that used to do all different kinds of leather products. I think Mixers, I think it would have been called. Some people, older people, may remember, perhaps older than me. So yeah, we'll carry on a bit more. And we've got Terrington Tales now. Looks like a dog grooming place. That was another, I don't know whether it was a spa shop or a grocery store, that kind of thing. I definitely remember they used to use the whole shop. It looks like the shop's in two parts now. So, but yeah, it was definitely, I think it was a spa or it could have been a co-op, maybe a co-op. And the one behind me, as you can see, the Speedway shop. That's always been there for quite a while. Yeah, the Speedway shop has been there years. Never been rich enough to go in, but you know. Yep, so we now made it to the top of Marsh Street, and obviously the main road behind me in the 70s and 80s, it would have been what is now the A17. So obviously a lot quieter than it was then. It was very busy then. So, and obviously directly behind me, Wildfowler pub. That's always been there ever since I've known as a child. So I'm going to go along the A17 now, and then we're going to come back down another street in Terrington to show you the different parts and pieces around there and different bits I can remember. Like I say, I did do some events and bits in the village when I was a child, and but I mainly stayed in the marsh and did that bits because it was still quite a walk from our house into the village. In them days, so I just want to take you along this next part as we go along, and show you where I believe what was Terrington Youth Club. It's a lot easier talking on these instead of doing the National Trust videos. At least you got kind of an idea what you're talking about when it's your own village. So but yeah. Now, I believe the building behind me, let me just try and get a better view, if I can. Just waiting for all the cars to go by. See if we can get this. But yeah, the building just here on the road, opposite Station Road, that would have been Terrington Youth Club, I'm pretty certain. Again, I never went as a child. But I know some of my friends did, and yeah, they used to do lots of different activities at the youth club there. So we'll carry on walking along. And a bit before my time. But as we can see, directly opposite me now is Terrington Station Road. This will take you to the new A17 and what is the A17 today. And obviously, if we go back further, that would have took you to Terrington train station. So yeah, again, you can check that online. There's plenty of info. I can't really put any snaps because of copyright, unfortunately. But again, Google it online, and you will see the snapshots and that from there. So we're now at the top of Churchgate Way, so we're going to head back into Terrington down the other street side, so we've sort of covered both streets then. Bit of a private residence, but as you can see, these grey doors here. Now, when I was a child, that was the bike shop, Bernie's bike shop, I believe it was then. I can remember we did get I think I got my first sort of what we call mountain bike kind of thing then. So all new and pretty expensive for us at the time, but yeah, that used to be Bernie's bike shop. And as you can see behind me with the British flag, that's the Terrington Recreation Ground, playing fields, football, cricket. There was swings and rides and bits and that for kids that were there all the time. I can remember going there a few times, and I've also took my own children there as well when we used to come over. So quite a good sized playing field. And yeah, pretty much always open all year round, so take a look if you're here. Now the footage you've just seen, I'm pretty certain just here, that field, I'm pretty certain that may have been or was the Terrington Cricket Club cricket ground. Not 100% certain, I'm sure people will correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty certain that used to be the cricket club. And there's still old signs on the gate that it was, so fingers crossed I'm right and my memory's okay. But yeah, I'm pretty certain that's where it was. And again, just here, car lot. Looks like it's still a service yard. Bit of advertising, there you go. Charlie's used cars and service in there. Little fun. But just let you know, yeah, going back to when I was a child, this would have been a BP garage, all this. And this, I think it was Jack Burt's, I think it was called then. But yeah, that used to be the garage for servicing and that then, but it was all Jack Burt's one. So BP garage used to come out every now and again. And in them days, they would come out and fill your car up. You didn't pick the nozzle up like you do now for petrol and diesel, or obviously for our US friends, obviously gas. They would come out in them days, they would fill the car up for you, and then you would go in and pay. Okay, we're now going to have a look down Chapel Road. We're going to have a walk down here, see what we can see down here. I know some of the village has changed, but also I wanted to show you as much as I can while we're here. And again, just go through some of my memories. This is quite a narrow, tight kind of road that takes you out onto Marshland Street, so you can have a look on the maps. But yeah, we'll see what we can see along the way, and I'll point out some bits what were there and now aren't there, and see what we can find. As you can see from the footage here, it's mainly private, as the road always has been, with housing, not shops and that kind of thing. But I have noticed, obviously, as things develop, there is a lot more new housing built in the back roads, and roads that weren't there when I was a child. A lot of this would have been open patches and sort of small allotment kinds of areas. Obviously now built it into housing for more people. So we've come down the end of that road, and we're now at, where are we, Wesley Road, on that junction there. Now the building behind me, that never used to be here. I'm pretty certain somewhere in this lot here used to be Terrington Chapel. So we used to have two places of worship in Terrington. One was obviously the main church that we've been round, like on the first video. And the second one, unfortunately, there may be some pictures online, I haven't checked. But we used to have a place called Terrington Chapel. And also, as I remember, it used to have seating downstairs, but as fun for kids, what we used to do, whether we should have done it or not, they used to have seating upstairs, like a gallery that you could look down, a bit like a theatre. It was quite interesting and very different then. So yeah, check it out. And as we can see here now, this is now Terrington Co-op, Wesley Road. Check it out just as if you're heading into the village to the main stores. That's what you'll now find the co-op when you come into the village. And as you can see, we're about to now rejoin back up with Marshland Street. Directly behind me, this wall, this is now all new private housing, but basically that was the car park for the county pub. And we have one more office just here. I'm trying to remember off the top of my mind what that was when I was a kid. I'm not sure whether that might have been a solicitor's or an insurance broker, something like that. Obviously it's an empty office now, I can't quite remember, but it was definitely something like that kind of thing then. So that's kind of the circuit of the village, and shops and that, where we are today. Obviously this is October 2024, so if people come back to my videos years later, you'll know what month and year that we've recorded this, so you can have a kind of a date stamp to where we are at the moment. So we're going to slowly head back out the village again, and we'll go back down North Gateway, and we'll slowly take a walk back and see what we can find from there. And if you ever do come and visit, what I do love about Terrington is kind of not too much has changed if you look at the main parts. Yes, there's lots of new housing been built around kind of outer areas and little sections what were free space, but you will find lots and lots of original buildings from 1900s that haven't been touched, and they've kept them, and it's really good to see. So take a look at the village. It's a bit of modern and a bit of new, bit of old, but lots of old places that you can still, if you look on the outside, you can still see it all. I'm still heading down Northgate Way. This would be the route out as if you're heading out of Terrington towards the Marsh way. As you can see, lovely blue skies again, so we'll carry on. Yeah, still a bit of traffic, village traffic, normally nice and kind of quiet, especially this time of day. I'm sure it'll get busier in kind of rush hour periods and the school time periods. But yes, we will carry on, and we'll head out long term out to the Marsh. So I will meet you there, and we'll see what we can also see on the way. A few more memories on the way, I'm sure. And just another quick shot here. I know you can only just see the building just here, but this was my infant and junior school, late 70s, early 80s. This would have been Terrington Marsh School. People who went there would be able to tell you all about it. I'm going to put some snapshots of what it originally used to look like. It's now privately owned. The school closed, I believe, in the 80s. And the children obviously went to either into Terrington Village or they went to Clenchwarton Infant Junior School. So a bit of a sad loss for the Marsh community. But yeah, like I said, I'll stick on some snapshots of what the building used to look like for you, and then you can have a look. Hi guys, we've made it back to where my Terrington life all began, down at Terrington Marsh. Kind of, well, obviously it began in a hospital obviously, but I remember as a child, as a very infant school kind of child, this is where it all began, with my grandparents down at Terrington Marsh. So I'm going to take you around this bit. This is where we'll be ending the part 2 Terrington video. So come along with me. Now we're at the car park at what would be the old riverbank. Obviously I wasn't about, I've only ever known the new riverbank, so but my grandfather would have known when the sea would have been at this part and would have been the old riverbank. I did originally want to take you down to the tower, but that's just completely unfeasible. It's so overgrown to get down the path now. It never used to be. So I do have some captured photograph video that I did a while ago there. So what I'll do, I'll take you down that part via video and show you the tower and the old battery and that kind of thing. I'll share some stories with you there. So we'll head off down the path and head to the new riverbank. Okay, we've just going down the path a bit. We've just discovered another stowaway. Obviously, for people who are not in UK, stowaway is a section, a path, driveway that goes across a dike, a drainage area. So we found a route back to the tower and that, so we can take you down there live today, and come with me and we'll follow down along the edge of the field, see what we can see as we go down, and then we'll get to the tower in a little while. So as you can see just here is the old, as they call the old riverbank. So until they put the new one in, which opened the fields up for more land, for farming land. I'm sure you can find online the whole history of it. Slightly before my time. So, but it's certainly overgrown way more than it was when I was a child. We used to come up and play up along the bank here. So this would have been late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, it's really so thick you can't go up there now. I guess stuff just isn't cut down anymore like it used to be. So, but this is along the route, kind of a short route till we get to the tower, and then I'll take you around. Now I can remember cycling along here, which feels now about 1,000,000 years ago. As I talked on the Terrington video when we was in the village, when I got my first mountain bike. So we used to cycle down here, and then you quickly realised how hard it actually is to cycle on grass. Even like you just didn't have the energy. Well, you did, but you was just a bit lazy, weren't you? even in low gears. So yeah, but yeah, we used to cycle this, and like youngsters nowadays who have EV bikes, and that, obviously we had to do it the hard way then. But as I'm sure all the parents will tell the kids, it wasn't as easy then, but you did enjoy it really. Now, as I recall, they used to have the L boxes up on the bank side here, obviously because a lot of the old barns have been pulled down, and I know the farm that my father works at, which is the other side of the bank here, they used to have a really old barn which we used to cycle down to as a kid, but that's all got pulled down now. But yeah, so they put lots of L boxes on. I don't actually know, and I can't get up to the bank to see anymore. But we used to have lots of owl nesting boxes on here. So the barn owls particularly, and you did see them every so often. So I haven't been down this way for quite a while. Now, I've always loved these things. They're all a bit rotten and old. They normally flower out in the summer. But you get these growing along the bank now, like Triffids. They ain't really like Triffids, are they? So, but yeah, it's good to see how nature's taken over the bank. But obviously the opposite side is that stops us going up there to have a look around. So, but yeah, if you do come down there, take a look. But seeing all this, that's like something out of a film, and how that's all been crushed and torn and flattened to one side. Perhaps not a UFO or something's landed there. But yeah, you can't make it up, and this is nature doing it for us. And again, go around Norfolk, you'll see all these kind of sights. It's quite good to see and bring you out in the natural, real world. So, but what I would say, suggestion, if you are dog walking here, you do need to watch your dogs on this because they can get rashes on the legs. I believe we have had this with our dog, so you do have to be careful with the vegetation. I think some of the local dog walkers will mention that to you, that they don't like to let the dogs near it because they can get rashes and it irritates the bottom of the feet. As you can see there, the tower behind me is in a bit of a sad state now. It never used to be in that state. So what I'll do, I'll add in some snapshots and old footage so you can see in it in a bit better days than it is now. Obviously, I know, appreciate it's getting on a bit now. Obviously, a lookout tower for the Second World War. And I know they used to use it as a flood watch because my grandfather used to be up there doing flood watch in the 50s. So yeah, I'm sure online you'll be able to find some more documentation and actual history of this, but we'll head up there now. I'll show you a bit round. Another in the 80s, 70s sort of play area I used to play as a child. But yeah, let's see what we can see as it is now. Again, just like we're in Terrington, we're in October 2024 for people who look at the videos later on. So let's go and take a look. As you can see, let's get an angle where I haven't got, I won't swear, graffiti all over the place. It's quite sad that they have to do all this now. But as you can see, the roof and that has obviously collapsed now. Obviously the metal joining parts in the concrete has rusted away now. But yes, this would have been one of the towers they used in the war as a lookout over the coast. And like I said before, used to play in here as a child. I know we perhaps at times shouldn't have done, but we did, you know. But yeah, if you do come down, have a look while it's still here, looking at the state it's in. I don't know how much longer it's going to be here, because it's getting in quite bad state now. So I would say get down here when you can. So with my excellent pointing that I do, as you're aware if you've watched some of my videos. So we've got the tower behind me here, and there is some other little shelters, rooms, safety parts that they would have had. So as you can see just here, next door there's another little building there. If you go along, as you look behind me, as you go along the bank, you will just see there is another shelter there. We're not going to go to that one today. It's another smaller one next to the road, so you can always take a look if you come down. Again, unfortunately, whoever does all this graffitiing, they've completely ruined any historic value these buildings had, which is quite sad to see. As we go behind the tower, along the bank side just here, if you can get through there, I remember as a child there is some more other little shelters built into the bank there as well. If you do venture into them, be very careful, they can be flooded. There is a lot of rubble on the floor, and let alone various people that have been in doing certain activities, they may not be too safe underfoot with what material they're leaving in there. So just be careful if you come down. But again, if you are into the war history and that kind of thing, it is really good to have a look while these buildings are still here. So as you can see again, we're in the main one next to the tower. Again, it's fairly clear on the floor, but there is lots of rubbish and bits and pieces. Again, unfortunately, it's graffiti, so you can't see the natural state it would have been in. Again, I'm not sure what the history is, so on all my videos, I'm not being a history expert. I'm coming here as a walker just to tell you what little bits I know, and if I know the area, just what bits I can tell you. But again, yeah, it's I'm sure online or in history books or locally they'll be able to tell you all about it and what the buildings would have been here for. But like I said, they are getting in not good state now, so I would say if you want to come down and have a look before they completely crumble away, perhaps now in the next 10 years is the time to come and see them while they're still here. So there we go. That, as we say, is the end of Terrington St Clement Part 2. So Part 2, we've taken you around the village, shown you some of the business, some of the areas of how it looks today in 2024. We've taken a road out of the village, heading out towards the marsh, and particularly the marsh where it all began for me, and taking you around a bit that I used to play around a lot as a child, around the tower and the old war batteries. So, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's shown you some sights that some people may have seen, may have not seen. I hope it's inspired people to come and have a look at Terrington St Clement. It is a very historic village with an excellent community. I'll try and be a bit biased because I come from here. But it really is. It's an excellent village to come and look around. I'm hoping to bring you some more little planned videos that we're going to do. I'm trying to do some new ones with some of the local community who can share their stories as well as like the ones I've shared. I'm hoping to do some videos, separate videos with the businesses there, and hopefully some of the farmer community as well, which farmer community is my background as well through the family. So I'm hoping to bring them. I'll keep everyone updated with that. Just to mention again, this, where are we? I'll never get this point right, do I? This hogsweed, it's called, apparently. And yes, it does. Don't touch it with your hands if you're new to the area. It can cause rashes and irritating, and it really does affect dogs' feet and legs and that if they go running through it. So just be very careful. So yeah, so me rambling on now. I hope you've enjoyed Terrington Part 2. Apologies it's took this long to get it out to you, but again, as I've said before, it's getting it around work and my normal job. And I hope soon to get you some more. I will look at some other villages outside of Terrington as well. Like I said, I've got lots of other bits planned. I just wanted to be, how can I say it? Wanted to do my own village first. I appreciate I don't live here now, I just come and visit. But it's great to see it. It's still flourishing and still carrying on like it was when I was here. So, thanks for watching. Please like and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really does help me bring out more of these videos for you. And please share the videos with your friends on Facebook and X. It would really help. And I hope to bring you more content very soon. If you've got any comments, questions, anything at all, just bung it in the comments. I will answer every comment and get an answer to you. Or you can also email me on stephenuk_travels@icloud.com. And thanks for watching.